I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier, and before we get started on the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. Once you're good and educated about the show, click on that merchandise tab. It's going to take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, our special event t-shirts, and so much more. All the gimmicks you come to know and love from the Renegades of Puck, all still available in our online store. Socks, wall art, throw pillows, bed sets, and so many more gimmicks. We've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this independent hockey operation, so listen up. Here's how you can help us out. Doesn't cost you a thing, doesn't take you but a second. You can help us out on social media by going to Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or even Facebook. You can give us a like, a subscription, give us a follow, any of those places, and sure would go a long way to helping us out. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much to all of our recent subscribers. It is definitely noticeable. Thank you for all of the recent subscriptions. Very much appreciated. You can also find the audio podcast on numerous platforms. Just search Renegades of Puck on your preferred platform or check out some of these different examples. Google, Stitcher, Spotify, and Amazon. You can find us on several other platforms as well. More Renegades are hearing the show than ever thanks to the Full Press NHL Network. So we appreciate everybody working up there and helping us out. Stick taps, love, and respect. Venmo, that's how you can help out the Renegades Puck by becoming a sponsor. Thanks to generous Renegades just like you watching and listening right now, we've been able to make significant upgrades. Look at the Bunker 4.0. We have made some significant upgrades recently. All of the technology, camera, lighting, microphone, and coming soon, a brand new computer setup and rig to make the show even better and even more efficient. So, stick taps, love, and respect. Thank you so much for supporting this independent hockey operation. Now, I know it's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 742. That's right, operation number 742. Show 742 already for the Renegades of Puck. And at this moment in hockey history, we are racing towards the finish line of the season end. The Nashville Predators currently find themselves in fifth place in the Central Division. They have skated in 78 games, 4 games to go. I cannot believe it. They have 40 wins, 30 losses, 8 overtime losses. They have 88 points on the season on the road, which is where the Preds' next game will take place. They have a record of 19-16-4. They have scored 219 goals. They have given up 227. That's a goal differential of -8. Now, the Nashville Predators' next opponent happens to be in the Central Division, and it also happens to be the most important game of the season for the Nashville Predators, and frankly, for their opponent, the Winnipeg Jets, as well. You see, the Winnipeg Jets have skated in the same number of games as the Nashville Predators, 78. Their record is 43-32-3. They have 89 points, 1 point ahead of the Nashville Predators. Tell you how that comes into play here in just a second. On home ice, a very good record, 24-13-2. They have scored 234 goals in the season. They have given up 218 goals. They have a goal differential of +16. Now, let me give you the updated Central Division standings just to make you wait a little bit longer to talk about the wild card. The Dallas Stars are currently in first place, but they are tied with the Colorado Avalanche, each team with 100 points. The Minnesota Wild just 2 points back at 98. Then we find Winnipeg and Nashville battling it out in the wild card race. Winnipeg currently at 89 points. Nashville is at 88. St. Louis, Arizona, Chicago, all with the little E next to their name, which means their season is done, other than, well, frankly, skating out the remaining of games in their schedule. Now, what you've been waiting to get the update on is the wild card, and this truly is wild. Now, Seattle picking up a victory tonight in wild card 1 slot, 96 points now. That puts them 7 points clear of the second place. That means Seattle's taken the first wild card spot, although not officially clinched yet. They will be doing so very, very soon. Now, Winnipeg in the second wild card spot in the Western Conference at 89 points. This is where things get incredibly fascinating. The Calgary Flames also at 89 points, but due to tiebreaker on the outside looking in. And then the Nashville Predators at 88 points. And this is something I did not think that we would be able to say at any point in time this season. The Nashville Predators now control their own playoff destiny. 88 points is outside of the wild card looking in right now, but they have head-to-head matchups coming up this weekend against Winnipeg and then on Monday in Calgary. So the Nashville Predators have head-to-head matchups against both of the teams they would need to jump over in order to get that last playoff spot. If the Preds win out, they're in automatically. So for the Nashville Predators, let's talk about what's left on the schedule and let's break down this very significant and important game on the schedule for the Preds. Remainder of the schedule: Monday in Calgary, again, critically important. Thursday versus Minnesota. Friday versus Colorado. Now, with Colorado being tied for first and Minnesota being 2 points out of first, we'll have to see how things are going. Both of those games could be for the division title. Nashville Predators not looking necessarily to play spoiler, but the Preds are going to probably need those points, and Minnesota, Colorado more than likely not going to be in a position to shut it down with as close as the three-team weave is at the top of the Central Division. So this is the fourth and final regular season meeting between the Nashville Predators and the Winnipeg Jets. Let's take you back and recap the season series. It was back on December the 15th when the teams met for the first time. It was in Winnipeg. The Jets came away with a 2-1 victory in overtime. UC Saros, 39 out of 41. Connor got the overtime game-winning goal. We go into January, and it's the 24th when Winnipeg is in Nashville. The Predators score a 2-1 victory, this time in regulation. Saros, 32 of 33. It was Glass and Janot scoring the goals for the Nashville Predators. Fast forward to March the 18th, and it would be the Nashville Predators falling at Bridgestone Arena to the Winnipeg Jets in overtime, this time by a score of 3-2. UC Saros took the loss 31 out of 34. It was Glass and Evangelista scoring the goals for the Nashville Predators. So the Preds have been outscored in the three games by a score of 6-5. But they have managed to pick up 4 of 6 points due to losing in 2 overtime scenarios. So this will close out the regular season series. A clean victory in regulation for the Nashville Predators will put them ahead of the Winnipeg Jets. And depending on how Calgary's result also works out on Saturday, the Nashville Predators could go into the Calgary game ahead in the playoff race in the wild card spot, defending from the high ground. Now, for the Winnipeg Jets, let's talk about their most recent stretch of hockey and how that's going to impact this matchup. Back on March the 25th, they had a 4-1 loss at the LA Kings. Followed that up on the 28th with a 3-0 loss at the San Jose Sharks. On the 31st of March, to close out the month, a 6-2 win versus Detroit. And then this is the one that was highly improbable, a 6-1 win versus the New Jersey Devils on the 2nd of April. And most recently, a 3-1 loss versus Calgary. That was on April the 5th. Now, the Nashville Predators injury situation is definitely going to be impacting this game, but for the Nashville Predators, it has simply been next man up, and they've never been closer to the playoffs, so there's no reason to think they're not going to just continue that. The captain, Roman Josi, is still rumored to potentially be coming back before the end of the season. Not heard much on Smith or Luzon. Carrier, Forsberg, Parson, don't expect we're going to be seeing any of them the remainder of the season. Now, let's talk about the numbers and the matchup in the NHL rankings between these two teams. Again, this is one incredibly important game in the Western Conference. Now, Nashville Predators goals for 2.74 per game. That's 27th overall in the NHL. Now, Winnipeg 2.99. That's 22nd in the NHL. So very close there in goals for. In goals against, 12th overall in the league for the Nashville Predators at 2.88 per game, while Winnipeg is giving up 2.78 per game. That is 10th. So again, another metric where they're incredibly close. Teams separated by 1 point in the standings and very, very close in most of the statistical metrics. In the shots for category, the Preds have struggled to generate shots on net this season. 29.6 is 24th overall in the NHL, while the Winnipeg Jets 30.4 shots on net is 20th overall, best in the league. 33.2 is the shots against for the Nashville Predators, 27th overall in the NHL. Shots against for Winnipeg 30.5, that's 10th best in the league. When it comes to special teams, again, these two teams are very, very similar and very close. Power play 18.1%, conversion rate for the Nashville Predators, it's 27th in the league, 43 out of 238, while the Winnipeg Jets 19.2% conversion rate, that's 24th in the league, 50 out of 259 opportunities. Now, the penalty kill, the Nashville Predators incredibly good PK recently, 81.8% kill rate on the season, has them 10th overall in the league, 48 power play goals against. Now, the Winnipeg Jets have an 82.1% kill rate. That's 6th best in the league, 39 power play goals against. Now, the individual statistics and the top 5 scorers for each team in the expected goaltender matchup, and it is one hell of a goaltender matchup. Let's start with the home team, the Winnipeg Jets. Connor, 31 goals, 48 assists, 79 points, usually feasts against the Nashville Predators. Morrissey, 15 and 56 for 71. Scheifele, also an incredibly impactful offensive player, not only just for the Winnipeg Jets, but against the Nashville Predators. 39 goals in the season, 25 assists, 64 points overall. Dubois, 26 and 35 for 61, and Wheeler, 16 and 38 for 54 in net. Connor Hellebuck, 34, 25 and 2, a 918 save percentage, a 2.57 goals against average. Of course, Nashville Predators fans have seen Connor Hellebuck throughout his entire career, and he is incredible, and he has had some pretty good success against the Nashville Predators. Now, on the Nashville Predators statistical side of things, the top 3 scorers are out injured. That has just been very difficult for the Nashville Predators. They've definitely struggled to generate shots on net and to, of course, score goals. The captain, Roman Josi, 18 goals and 41 assists for 59 points. Matt Duchene, 22 goals, 34 assists for 56 points. Philip Forsberg, 19 goals, 23 assists, 42 points, all out of the lineup at this time. Then we fall to Tommy Novak, the current on-ice scoring leader for the Nashville Predators, 17 goals and 24 assists for 41 points, and then Glass at 14 and 19 for 33. UC Saros in net, 31, 22, and 7, 918 save percentage, a 2.71 goals against average. We're going to talk a lot about UC Saros on this episode of the Renegades of Puck podcast, and I'm going to make the case for why UC Saros absolutely deserves to be a Vezina finalist, and we're going to talk about that when we do the Rebirth Sports full game recap and the analysis coming up, and I believe the Renegades of Puck are all going to have something to say about UC Saros. The series he had against the Carolina Hurricanes this season, just simply incredible. One for the all-time books, one for the ages, and now UC Saros on the season. And 918 save percentage on a team that is in 5th place and outside of a playoff position, and a 31 total wins on the season. It's highly, highly impressive stuff what he is doing. That's got you all set up for the Nashville Predators going into Winnipeg to face off against the Jets. 4th and final regular season meeting between these two teams. A hell of a lot on the line concerning the wild card playoff race. Nashville Predators, Winnipeg Jets. You're all set for it. Now, let's go back and talk about the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We've got to go back and talk about the Nashville Predators hosting the Carolina Hurricanes.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back to April 6th of the year 2023 when the Nashville Predators were welcoming in the Carolina Hurricanes. John Hines would deploy his lines in the following way. Often to say of Glass and Tomasino make up your first line. Sherwood, Novak, and Evangelista. Trennan, Sisson, and Asplund. Sanford, Jankowski, and McCarron. Your defensive pairings. Now, listen up. McDonough and Fabro, Barry, and recently signed Livingstone called up, making his NHL debut already. You can go from college to the NHL playing for the Nashville Predators just that quickly and possibly be in the NHL playoffs a week later at this point in time if you are a healthy body able defenseman for the Nashville Predators organization. So Barry and Livingstone make up your second defensive pairing, and Stastny and Foote. You know, just like the organization drew it up out of training camp going into the season, a lot has changed in the last several weeks. UC Saros gets the start in net against the first place Carolina Hurricanes. We are 1:30 into the first period. It's Anderson coming up with a save on Barry. It's the first shot on goal of the game at 3:44. Saros checks into the game. He comes up with a save on Jarvis. 5:44. Anderson comes up with a save on Sherwood, plus the follow-up by McDonough. 6:35. Evangelista's off the box. 2 minutes for puck over the glass, but no worries. It's going to be Jankowski scoring the shorthanded goal, his 6th of the season. He took the shot and goes bar down far side on the 2-on-1. The Nashville Predators have a 1-0 lead. Carolina would not generate a single shot on goal. At 10:47 of the first period, McCarron's going to score his 2nd goal of the season. It's going to be the Nashville Predators' 2nd goal of the game. 2-0 lead now. He simply threw a sharp angle shot right along the goal line off of the skate of Anderson and into the net. Don't know what he was intending to do, but that's why it's a good idea to always just throw it at the net. Perfect bank shot off the blade of the skate. Nashville Predators with a 2-0 lead. At 11:32 of the first period, Sherwood's off to the box, 2 minutes for hooking. This is just going to be an incredible PK. Clogging the lanes, denying the blue line, and blocking shot opportunities. The Carolina Hurricanes would not register a shot on goal. At 16:58 of the first period, UC Saros comes up with a huge blocker save. 17:24 of the first period, Saros comes up with a save on Stahl. 19:35. Aho's off to the box, 2 minutes for high sticking in the offensive zone. A long shift of Aho taking a good physical pounding leads to him taking a penalty and heading off to the box. We hit the end of the first period. Carolina's out shooting the Preds 13-8, but the Preds have a 2-0 lead and a carryover of a power play into the second period of 1 minute and 35 seconds. Anderson would come up with a save on Asplund during that continuation. We go to the 4:38 mark of the second period. That's when Anderson comes up with a save on Novak after some strong, confident stick handling. At 7:19, Saros comes up with a save on Burns. 9:24, Saros a save on Martinuk. 10:40 of the second, Saros a save on Burns, plus the rebound follow-up. World-class save sequence right there. 12:23 of the second period. And Anderson's back in the game, coming up with a save on Evangelista, who came up with a really strong scoring opportunity after another good, strong puck handle. 14:34 of the second, Saros comes up with a save on Burns. 16:40, Saros a save on Teravainen. At 19:23, Shea puts the puck in the net. A wrist shot from the circle. It is challenged. Goaltender interference as the Canes player was trying to cut through the crease. He did hit UC Saros' glove. That is exactly where the puck ends up going in the net, so the interference directly affected the play. The goal is taken off the board. The Nashville Predators challenge is rewarded. So we go back to 0 for Carolina, so still 2-0 in favor of the Nashville Predators. Now, the Preds are being outshot dramatically here at the end of the second period, 26-14. But it was a very strong defensive period for the Nashville Predators. The Predators honestly controlled much of this period. The shots were coming from far the outside. They were certainly not getting into the high danger area like they were at other times of this game. So the Nashville Predators played a very good, strong, professional second period with the long change. Into the third period on the clean sheet, 1 minute and 1 second in, UC Saros came up with a save on Shea's long shot. No traffic, and he saw that one coming all the way. At 3:59 of the third period, Burns puts the puck into the net. He faked dumping the puck along the wall from the neutral zone, and he shoots it directly into the net. Caught UC Saros leaving the crease area a little bit earlier, leaning. He wasn't quite out of the crease yet. Luckily for the Nashville Predators, as this puck was being fired in from the neutral zone, the Canes had yet to clear completely out of the zone. This puck was immediately ruled to be offsides. The goal was taken off the board, and what would have been a slightly embarrassing goal against for UC Saros and the Nashville Predators is taken away. Second goal of the game taken off the board now for the Carolina Hurricanes. 6:49 of the third period. It's Tommy Novak shot. It trickles onto the goal line. It wasn't trickling. It was spinning. It was doing everything but going across the goal line. There was a fierce battle. McDonough tries to get in there. He has his stick lifted. He just cannot get to it. And the Canes find a way to get that puck out of there without it going across the goal line. Some otherworldly looks at it on their broadcast. They certainly had all of the evidence to show that it never made it across the goal line. 9:56 of the third period, Puljujarvi comes up with a shot that's stopped by the kick out, the pad by UC Saros, and then the rebound off of the toe. So two saves with the leg there by Saros. 10:51, Saros comes up with a save on Shea. 15:31, Anderson comes up with a save on Novak's wraparound opportunity. Barely any offense for the Preds in the third period, so it was worth making a notation when even that little bit happened. 16:38, Anderson comes up with a diving save to prevent the empty net goal. He was headed to the bench as it was being dumped down. He dives back into the middle of the ice, circumventing that empty net goal. But at 17:16, the Nashville Predators would convert on the empty net goal. It would be Dante Fabro sliding that puck the length of the ice for his second goal of the season. Dante Fabro, empty net goal. Nashville up 3-0 over the Carolina Hurricanes. It would be a rather uneventful 6-on-5 for the remaining minutes of the game. The Nashville Predators would win the game 3-0, but be outshot 33-23. So for the Nashville Predators, they beat a first-place team for the second time this week. The Carolina Hurricanes are the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference behind the Boston Bruins. wait, didn't the Nashville Predators just beat them recently as well? Nashville Predators beat the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, the Vegas Golden Knights, on home ice just the other night. Now they beat the number 2 seed and their division-leading Carolina Hurricanes from over in the Eastern Conference. Highly impressive stuff. The Preds are certainly outgunned and outmatched by these teams that they're beating, but they're competing harder and they're battling for every puck, and they are showing the league what this young group can do. When you look at that Nashville Predators defense core, it doesn't strike fear into a whole lot of people who are just going to look at it, but I'm telling you right now, you score 3 victories over 3 first-place teams in less than 2 weeks, and it's going to start to strike fear into everyone who is on the schedule the rest of the way. So the Nashville Predators have a pivotal game coming up. These 2 points go a long way to keeping the Nashville Predators in control of their own destiny. Now they'll face off against the Winnipeg Jets with the wild card spot on the line. Just 4 games to go in the season. That's going to do it for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We've got so much more to talk about when it comes to this game. UC Saros, another otherworldly performance. He gets the shutout, his second on the season, his second victory against the Carolina Hurricanes. We've got a lot to talk about when it comes to that. The numbers are staggering, just staggering what UC Saros did against the Carolina Hurricanes this year. That's going to do it for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We've got analysis. We've got the Renegades of Puck, Sean C. Smith, Brian Baston. We've got the box score. We've got all of that coming up next on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
UC Saros was 33 out of 33 in this game, his second shutout of the season, and now on the season, 2-0 versus the Carolina Hurricanes. The Carolina Hurricanes more than likely are going to go on to win their division and catch this number, 100 out of 103. Multiple franchise records broken by UC Saros in the series against the Carolina Hurricanes this season, and to put up those types of numbers, it is unheard of. Without a doubt in my mind, UC Saros has cemented himself as a Vezina finalist after now this performance against the Carolina Hurricanes. Again, 2-0 on the season, 100 out of 103, including a franchise record for most shots and saves in a game and most saves in a period against this Carolina Hurricanes team. And the Canes are an incredibly good hockey team, especially on the offensive side of things. Again, there is no doubt in my mind that after what we have seen the last couple of games, that UC Saros is a Vezina finalist. Now, it is going to be nearly impossible to beat Linus Ullmark for the Vezina this year for the Boston Bruins just because of the otherworldly numbers that he has put up. But UC Saros is definitely deserving to be a finalist, and he is deserving to have more talk about what he is able to do. I'm sure I'll have plenty more to say about him over the last couple of games because I get the feeling he's going to be getting a lot of more minutes. Jankowski comes up with a shorthanded goal. It ends up being the game-winning goal. He also piles in an assist, 2 points in this game for Jankowski, 2 shots on goal as well, and this is how it works out. He's taking advantage of an opportunity. Listen, everybody seems to be getting opportunities and taking advantage of them as of late. Very few of the players that have been called up, that have been inserted into the lineup, have disappointed. Yes, they've made their mistakes. They're young players. It's a very, very young, inexperienced group at this point, but getting the opportunity. Jankowski is a little bit older now, getting another opportunity to get back in the lineup. That shorthanded goal was sweet. A 2-on-1. He decides with all the confidence in the world to take that shot, wrist shot, bar down, and he absolutely schooled Anderson on that one. So for Jankowski, a really big game for him, taking advantage of the opportunity, and he's going to have to play some big hockey, and his former team, the Calgary Flames, is coming up on the schedule. Maybe Jankowski could be a difference maker in that one. McCarron scores a goal in this game. Solid game. 145 shorthanded time on ice. He's out there blocking shots. He's sacrificing the body. He's playing a physical game, and he finds a way to chip in offensively. Listen, he did what they always say. It's almost so cliche. He just threw the puck in the net. That's all he did. He barely even got his head turned around. He just threw it along the goal line. It goes off the skate of the goaltender and into the net. McCarron gets a goal. That's a very important goal. That second goal was really, really important. The Preds were under a lot of pressure throughout this game, and without that second goal, they may not have been able to hold up. Now, listen, the Preds got the benefit of 2 goals being disallowed, one for goalie interference, one for offsides, but the Nashville Predators definitely needed that second goal to keep that momentum going on their side. So for McCarron, great job. And Dante Fabro with the empty net goal and 3 hits in this game that led the Preds 21-53 time on ice. That also led the team another strong game for Dante Fabro. And I know for a couple of seasons it was so easy to just make Dante Fabro a scapegoat for every little defensive mistake he would make. But if you cannot stop, recalibrate, and understand that Dante Fabro is playing significantly better hockey, perhaps the best hockey of his career right now for this Nashville Predators team, then you simply just aren't really paying attention. You're letting previous bias. We always knew that Dante Fabro had this potential, and we had always hoped he would turn the corner, hopefully sooner than now. But if he's turning the corner now, then you need to learn to embrace that he has stepped up his ability to play really good defensive hockey for this Nashville Predators team. Dante Fabro should not be a punching bag or a punch line, and each little mistake he makes should not be critical and circled for humiliation factors on the internet. He's playing really good hockey, and I think you ought to be paying better attention to what he's doing. Stastny, got to talk about him for a second. 2 assists in this game. Incredible. Defenseman out there, just makes his NHL debut, and now 2 assists. He also was able to block 2 shots in this game. Just about everybody blocked shots in this game. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. So Stastny picks up 2 assists, and stick taps. Livingstone makes his NHL debut for the Nashville Predators again. Straight from college, undrafted free agent, all the way to the NHL in just a matter of days. That's just the way things are going. And with all of that happening, the Nashville Predators are closer to a playoff spot than they have been, and they are in control of their own destiny. It is truly, truly one of the most improbable sports stories of this entire season. Now, I want to hear from Sean C. Smith from A to Z Sports. He was at the game tonight. Of course, he was in the post-game scrum. He talked to the coach, talked to some of the players. I want to hear what Sean's got to say. You can catch his work at A to Z Sports. You can watch him right now on Renegades of Puck TV. Find him on Twitter at SCSNSH. Sean, show belongs to you.
Sorry, everybody. Charlie, Renegades, you guys know what this is? This is a Mountain Dew Baja Blast Freeze from the Taco Bell, and it tastes pretty good. Not going to lie, there's not many things in life that taste better. But one of the things that tastes better is a 3-0 regulation win against the Carolina Hurricanes by the Nashville Predators tonight. Let me tell you what. If you're expecting this to be a blowout, you were wrong. Not only did the Predators not lose in a blowout to the Hurricanes, they beat them 3-0. And guess where the scoring came from? Let's name a couple of the guys who got goals early. Mark Jankowski. Did you have that one on your list? Did you place your bets at the sports books on Mark Jankowski scoring a goal? Probably not. Then turn around, next thing you know, big sexy Michael McCarron scores another goal. Did you have Mike McCarron on your list? Did you put a bet? Did you take your money, go down to the sports book, and place your money on Michael McCarron to score a goal tonight? Probably not. And let's be real, the Preds got kind of lucky. I don't want to say luck. Luck's probably not the right word. There were 2 goals that were disallowed. 1 because of goaltender interference, which was the right call, and 2 because of an offside call that was delayed. And realistically, sometimes things just line up in your favor, right? Sometimes things go the way you need them to go. Think about the Calgary win the other night over the Jets, right? That was a pretty big deal. Calgary beat the Jets, that helps the Predators. The Predators beat the Hurricanes, that helps the Predators. And then if you want to cap everything off after holding off a barrage of shots and frustrating the Hurricanes, Dante Fabro, the much maligned, often hated on defender in Nashville, Dante Fabro scores the empty net goal. What more could you ask for? You're getting depth scoring from a team late in the season during a playoff push, playing against one of the best teams in the NHL. And you get scoring from your fourth line and from the defender that everybody loves to hate on for some unknown reason. The Predators, they're doing a great job. They're doing everything they need to do right now to make it happen. They've got 2 big games coming up against the teams they're in competition with for that playoff spot. They've got Calgary, they've got Winnipeg. Those are must-watch games. They're must-win games. Win those games, you're punching your ticket to the playoffs, pretty much. I'm sure Brian will explain it better than I can. But like I said before, some things just go your way sometimes. Sometimes things just line up the way you need them to. And the results are pretty sweet. Charlie, Renegades, that's all I've got. I'm going to send it back over to you.
The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. When it comes to the box score, goal scorers for the Nashville Predators, Jankowski and McCarron on the forward side of things. Dante Fabro with the empty netter, defensive scoring right there. When it comes to assists, highly improbable. Stastny with 2 assists leads the Nashville Predators. McDonough chips in an assist in this game. Jankowski also picked up an assist to have 2 total points. When it comes to shots, it was Asplund with 3 and Trennan also with 3 to lead the Nashville Predators. When it comes to blocked shots, it was Cal Foote with 4 blocked shots in this game. Fabro chipped in with 3 blocked shots. Sissons also chipped in with 3 blocked shots. And the incredible number for this game is that the Nashville Predators blocked 26 shots, while the Carolina Hurricanes only blocked 3 shots in total in this game. When it comes to the hits, you know what? It was a fast-moving, really good skating game. There wasn't really a lot of time for physical play, and other than just a couple of good chirps being exchanged, there really weren't very many scrums either. So when it comes to the physical element of things, it was Dante Fabro leading the way with 3 hits. Barry had 2 hits. Sissons had 2 hits, and McCarron also chipped in with 2 hits. Again, limited and sparse on the physical play with such a fast-paced, heavy skating game out there. Time on ice leaders, Luke Evangelista, 17:04 in total time on ice, led all of the forwards. Luke Evangelista, again, earning the trust of the coaching staff. For the defensemen and overall for the team, 21:33 is your time on ice leader, and it goes to Dante Fabro. Dante Fabro, again, putting up another really good performance. Barry, 20-17 in total time on ice. Foote, 20-31. McDonough at 20-48. Stastny already putting up 19-25 in total time on ice. And Livingstone, in his first NHL game, 16 minutes and 8 seconds of time on ice against a first-place team and a playoff team in the Carolina Hurricanes. So, great job by this Nashville Predators team. UC Saros in net, 33 out of 33. But again, the most impressive stat of the entire game is the Nashville Predators giving up the body and blocking 26 shots, while Carolina was only able to block 3 shots on goal. That's going to do it for the box score, but we've got more talk about numbers because we've got to update all of the playoff races. Brian Baston is here with that update. He's got the charts you need to see, the numbers you need to know. You can find his work on theforecheck.com. You can find him on Twitter at Brian Baston, and you can watch him right now.
There's only one way to describe the Nashville Predators and this team, and clutch is the perfect descriptor for the kind of run we're seeing to keep them alive in the playoff race. Now, the Nashville Predators shut out the Carolina Hurricanes tonight 3-0, and it was just the latest case of favorable results for the Preds' playoff chances. Well, we saw Calgary beat Winnipeg in regulation yesterday, putting both teams at 89 points, and then Nashville won in regulation today, putting them at 88. But before we talk about the playoff picture, we're going to talk about maybe the only reason this team is in the hunt for a playoff spot at all. That's right, it's Short King Spring for UC Saros, and he's keeping it 100. And that 100 is tonight's one big stat. In 2 matchups against the Hurricanes this season, UC Saros has done what seems impossible. He's faced 100 shots on goal against. That's an average of 50 per game. But in reality, we had 33 tonight and a record-setting 67 against on January 5th, and he saved 97 of them. That's an easy percentage. Carolina doubled nearly every counting statistic in 2 games. They had 179 shot attempts to Nashville's 84, 9.4 expected goals to 6.5, but they didn't double them up in the one that matters, and that's goals, which Nashville leads now 8-3 in the season series. But it's not just against the Hurricanes where UC Saros has shined. Since March 1st, UC Saros leads the entire league with 13.25 goals saved above expected. Over those 16 games, UC Saros averages about allows 1 goal less than expected in every one, meaning he's giving Nashville a better chance to win by a goal almost every game. And while yes, this is UC's only 2nd shutout of the season, he's quickly making a case for not just being a finalist for the Vezina Trophy, but winning it. And his late season performance is another reason why. In those 16 games since March 1st, Saros has 8 games in which he's given up 2 goals or less. If you extend it to 3 goals or less, he's done that in 13 of the last 16. If Nashville makes the playoffs, UC Saros is the #1 reason why. And speaking of the playoffs, it's time for your playoff picture update. Like I said before, everything Nashville needed to happen actually happened. And tonight, here's where the 3 teams stand. Sitting in the second wild card spot currently is Winnipeg with 89 points and 4 games remaining, a potential max point total of 97. The Calgary Flames also have 89 points, but only have 3 games left, a max total of 95. And then you have the Preds. They sit 1 point behind both of those teams at 88 with 4 games remaining, a maximum total of 97. So max total of 96. So where do we stand? As you all know, Nashville has maybe the biggest game of the season against the Jets on Saturday. And with the win tonight, Nashville jumped from a 16% chance of making the playoffs to 24%. But that number can change drastically in the game against Winnipeg. If Nashville wins in regulation, they jump up all the way to a 43% chance of making the postseason. They'll have 90 points to Winnipeg's 89, and both teams will have 3 games left. A loss in regulation drops Nashville's chances from 16% all the way down to 6%, leaving them at 88 points to Winnipeg's 91, and that's going to be almost an insurmountable lead for them to try to overcome. But the chances improve less dramatically with an overtime win. Both teams would sit at 90 points, but both teams sitting at the same amount of points is kind of the problem, because Nashville has to gain more points than the Jets from that point on, because if it makes it to tiebreakers, Nashville's not going to win. They have the first tiebreaker is regulation wins. Nashville has 29 to Winnipeg's 33, exactly 4 less. And if it does get moved up to the second tiebreaker, which is regulation and overtime wins, well, Nashville trails Winnipeg by 7. So, ending the season tied in points with the Winnipeg Jets is not an option really for Nashville, because there's very, very few chances out there that Nashville could turn that around and still make the playoffs. So, every point counts, and not just the ones for Nashville, but the ones lost by Winnipeg as well. But let's not forget about the Flames. They have Vancouver on Saturday while Nashville and Winnipeg are playing. And even if Nashville wins in regulation, if the Flames win at all, they'll have 91 points and lead for the final wildcard spot. After that, well, it's Nashville for the next game, and hopefully we'll be having this same conversation in 2 days' time. But however, the Flames only have 3 games remaining to Nashville and Winnipeg's 4, so they remain the only team of the 3 that doesn't control their own destiny. They could win every single game, but Winnipeg could actually still get in just by picking up more points. The Flames, in a way, have put themselves in 3rd place in this race, but not by very much. So what's the take-home from all of this? Just win. Take care of business, especially in regulation, and the Predators could end up with a fairy tale ending to a season that was declared dead just a couple months ago. And that is tonight's one big stat.
I'm Crazy Charlie Saunier, captain of the Renegades of Puck. I'm also tired of the cold, tired of the dark, and tired of being landlocked. I'm also willing to bet that I'm not the only one who could use some sun, fun, and time in paradise with friends. That's exactly why I called our great friend Pete Weber. He told me, call Ships and Trips Travel, and now we're all going to Mexico. That's right, Renegades of Puck, July 15th to the 20th of 2023. Dreams Vallarta Resort in Puerto Vallarta is the destination to hang with Pete Weber in paradise. To join Pete and the Renegades of Puck in Puerto Vallarta, go to www.shipsandtripstravel.com. That's shipsandtripstravel.com, and just click on the ROP on vacation tab. Don't stay landlocked. Join the Renegades of Puck in paradise, July 15th to the 20th, 2023 in Puerto Vallarta. Pete Weber, the Renegades of Puck, and you. It's time to ditch those skates for flip-flops and fun in the sun. The Boston Bruins are the unquestioned juggernaut of the NHL this season. They have absolutely run away with everything in the Eastern Conference. They are far ahead in almost every statistical metric in the entirety of the NHL, and they also suffered a loss to the Nashville Predators recently. The Vegas Golden Knights are the number one seed in the Western Conference, and it looks like they've just about got that locked up and secured. And the Vegas Golden Knights have had great success, been a very good offensive team all season long, but they just lost to the Nashville Predators recently, and the Carolina Hurricanes, a first-place team over from the Eastern Conference. They're going to be the number 2 seed overall in the Eastern Conference going into the playoffs here in just over a week's time, and they also just lost to the Nashville Predators. The Nashville Predators have picked up 3 victories and 6 points against the most improbable schedule that you could imagine, beating the Boston Bruins, beating the Vegas Golden Knights, beating the Carolina Hurricanes. Nobody was picking nor predicting that any of these teams would be beaten by the Nashville Predators, but the Predators beat all 3 of them, and for that reason, those 6 points are what allow the Nashville Predators to control their own destiny, to sit here in the bunker after this Carolina Hurricanes game tonight, and to see that the Nashville Predators have a head-to-head game coming up against the Winnipeg Jets on what is the last weekend of the regular season for the Nashville Predators. This game is the most important game of the entire season, and with a clean victory in regulation, the Nashville Predators will jump the Winnipeg Jets and potentially, with the result of the Calgary game over the weekend, potentially be in a wild card spot. Even without that, Monday they go into Calgary and they'll have that opportunity. So the Preds' next 2 games, the 2 most important games of the season, and the Predators control their own destiny. This young team, to think how many players were traded, how many players are out injured, and how many players are just not a part of this team anymore that were a big part of this team going into the season. This young Nashville Predators team is so easy to get behind and so easy to cheer for, and while so many people wanted to see them drop in the standings in order to improve their draft status, I think the experience of making it into the playoffs, going on this run, becoming a part of the community, becoming mentally, physically, and spiritually Nashville Predators and National Hockey League players, they are prepared to make this run. Improbable, yes, and if they make it, it will be awesome. Now, this is probably saving John Hines' job. If the Predators make the playoffs, he has a year left on his contract. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. If the Preds do make the run, they make the playoffs, and regardless of what happens after that, it probably does save John Hines' job going forward. Sean C. Smith has been bringing that point up and talking about that the last couple of days, and I agree with him. What if the Nashville Predators get in the playoffs and somehow get out of the first round in scoring a victory over the Vegas Golden Knights or the Dallas Stars, depending on who ends up winning first and second overall? So for the Nashville Predators, getting in would be so incredible, and seeing Luke Evangelista and seeing all of these other players in Tommy Novak and Glass and so many of these young players in the playoffs for the first time, it would be incredible and a great experience for the Nashville Predators. And it's speeding up and fast forwarding exponentially the rebuild phase of this franchise. Now, with the amount of draft capital and what they could do possibly in free agency, who knows? Yes, I'm talking about some pretty wild concepts right now and some pretty exciting things. It's easy to get excited when the team in front of you is competing that hard and playing to that level. The first place teams across the NHL have certainly learned about this brand new pesky baby Predators team. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Operation 742 is in the books. Can't wait to break down Nashville Predators in Winnipeg, taking on the Jets for a potential wild card spot. That's going to do it for this episode. Can't thank the Renegades of Puck for jumping in the trenches enough. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Sean. Thanks to each and every one of you. I sure do appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your time. And most importantly, I appreciate you. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect.